Good morning. Thank you for joining in to the Kilachari Torah Halacha Review and Sefirah to Omer count for Wednesday, April 7th. Today is the 10th day of the Omer. Hayom Asara Yamim Shehem Shavua Echad Ushlosha Yamim La Omer. We started speaking over the last couple of days actually about haircutting and so on in preparation for Simcha. You know, there's the idea of an upsharon where a baby boy doesn't get his haircut until he's 3 years old. 3 years old is the first haircut. So what about a child who was born on Chol Hamoed Pesach? It does happen. Can have his upsharon on Chol Hamoed. If a child was born during the last days of Yom Tov, you can cut his hair on Chol Hamoed if that's what you want to do. Hundreds, maybe even thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands. No, wait, let me read the whole sentence. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people cut their son's hair in Meron, in the town in northern Israel on Lag BaOmer, according to the custom of the Arizal. Hundreds of thousands of people come. I don't know how many of those actually bring their sons for the first haircut, but many, many do. Some say the holiness of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai will be a merit for the child, who is his kever there, his burial place. Others say the reason is that the hair is part of the negative inclination, as was taught by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar. You can look in Aprakasya de Anya, if you want to look that up. Section 1, page 161. Many have the custom to go to Meron to cut a child's hair even before the child turns 3. Others say you should go to Meron only if the child was born during the Omer period. If the child was born after Shavuos or before Sefirah, then you should not go to Meron to cut his hair on Lag BaOmer. Tune in tomorrow, we'll talk about engagements and weddings. We touched on it a little bit before, but we'll go into more depth and detail. Now, we are continuing in our Acquiring the Torah Step by Step 49 Days book here, which you can pick up at the local Jewish booksellers if you like, or you can have me read it to you. Day number 10, which is where we are today. Remember, these parallel the 48 means of acquiring the Torah that the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos talks about. The one for today, Shimush Chachamim. That means to serve, support, help one's Rav, one's teacher. The Gemara teaches us that serving a Rav is greater than learning from him. So says in Tractate Brachot. We learned it on page 7b some months ago. The reason for this, which is repeated in the name of the Gaon of Vilna, is that when one serves a Rav, he observes and learns from all that teacher's actions. This type of learning supersedes the conventional method of learning because when one learns something through visual observance, it makes a greater impression on us than learning through pure listening. Another aspect of Shimush Chachamim is to reach a level where one becomes so connected with the Rav to the point where, besides learning from one's teacher how to act in matters of Torah, we also learn how to conduct ourselves in everyday mundane matters. Now, there's a fine balance, he points out here, between acquiring this level of Shimush Chachamim, of helping, serving, supporting our teachers, the sages, when one learns from one's teacher in every aspect of life, and yet retaining one's own identity. Here's a balance. Here you can learn something about this balance from this interesting situation from the Gemara, from the Chazal. There are two statements in the words of our sages that seem, on the face of them, to contradict each other. In Avos the Rabbi Nassan, which is a similar text to Pirkei Avos, the sages tell us that Rabbi Eliezer revealed new insights which no ear had ever heard before. Yet in another Gemara, this one in Tractate Sukkah, page 28a, Rabbi Eliezer testified about himself that he never said anything which he did not hear from his own teacher. So this is explained by Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, that a true Talmud, a real student, is not one who simply copies and mimics their teacher. Rather, a Talmud, a real student, is one who has reached such a connection, such an understanding of one's teacher to the point that in any given situation we can ask ourselves, what would my teacher do in this situation? And then act accordingly. Rabbi Eliezer, so the explanation goes, reached the epitome of connection with his teacher to the point where whenever he was faced with a decision or a chidush, an insight in Torah learning, a novel, a novellum, he was able to rule in the exact manner that his teacher would have ruled, thereby accomplishing the seemingly challenging feat of developing new insights while not producing anything that he didn't hear from his Rebbe. This is the level of serving our teachers that we should strive for. To live our own lives in a way where we're asking ourselves, how would my Rav act in that position? Okay, interesting. Good food for thought for today. Please join us again tomorrow for more. Have a good day.